Hello everybody, this is Founder Laerun and Lady Shell. I'm going to build a 5th level Paladin. I haven't decided yet if it's going to be male or female. I think it's going to be a female. And I have a pretty cool token that's mounted on a Pegasus. So I think this particular build, I am not only going to have the Paladin, but I'm also going to have this Pegasus mount. The other thing is that I'm probably going to pick a form of Aasimar or some sort of exotic race instead of a human or an elf. And so I'm going to get started. So first things first, in the library, I've opened up a few extra books to pull from. So if you're curious as to where I got these from, I opened up the Baldur's Gate Players Edition just in case for Avernus. I opened up Faiths of the Forgotten Realms, Heroes of Baldur's Gate, the Players book, and Xanathar's Scroll of Lost subclasses just in case. So I have a whole bunch of stuff that I can draw upon in case I want to customize this particular build a little bit further. So that's what I have loaded besides the core books. And then I have Rob 2E's coding effects. So hopefully this will give me some choices when I go to build the character. So I'm going to start building with the standard array. Lady Shell said I should start with a 15 strength if I choose a certain race. And then I think I'm going to pick a 13 con. A 14 wisdom. A 12 charisma.
If you pick the Protector Aasimar, it gets an extra wisdom, so you might want to put that 14 somewhere else. Maybe
Okay.
Dex?
Yeah, Dex. So then I will have a, was that a 12 wisdom? Yeah, good enough. So I didn't take the 8, so I cheated a little bit. So I have a 10 intelligence. Everything else is, pretty fairly balanced. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 12 instead of 8. So I can make that 11 actually. Well, being it's a paladin though, she needs a little bit more than that. So I'm going to go with, yeah, we'll go with 12. 212, there we go. All right, so that's that. Now I'm going to pick a background. So this particular character, let's see. I'm going to go to the backgrounds and I got to change the library. So I'm going to change it to create PC. That way I have all the information I need. And I could pick an acolyte or a cloistered scholar, but it kind of doesn't make sense. City Watch, maybe. Entertainer, no. Folk Hero, potentially. Harper Agent, maybe. Oh, Knight of the Order. There we go. This would be a
go with the order.
Order of the Crown. Either Order of the Crown or Order of the Oath, or Oath of the Crown or Oath of Devotion. We'll see. So.
What about Order of the Gauntlet? Is that what you just said? No, you said Noble, right? Noble Knight.
So this is the, well, this is a Knight of the Order. This is a Purple Dragon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
So I forget about these. So yeah, maybe this particular character is going to come from a different area to help in the fight against Avernus. Because you get Persuasion +1 from the following. You get Arcana, History, Nature, and Religion. Man,
your persuasion's going to be cool. So cool.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, I'm going to take a Knight of the Order. That sounds pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that over. I've never used this
Hey,
before.
and she's female. Isn't she?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
was in
That
that
photo
photo?
was, yeah. So Purple Dragon Knight. What? Why didn't it work? Oh, I drug over the wrong thing. Okay, so she's going to get either Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion.
What do you
Probably
have so far?
nothing.
Not telling you how to do it, but I usually
No, I
look at
don't.
my skill
Nothing.
tab to make sure
Well,
I
I
have
have
the right.
Persuasion. I have Persuasion. But I need to pick one of the other four. So probably History or Religion. Probably Religion. That'll work. So she's got 2 skills, just like that.
History is intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm. Religion
And religion
is
oh, religion's
intelligence too.
intelligence too. Oh,
Oh well. Let's see. Um, See, she can be a Knight of the Order. Doesn't have to be Purple Dragon. There's Knights of Mithranor. There's the Knights of the Silver Chalice.
aren't the knights of Mithranor? Aren't they dwarves?
No, they were elves.
Oh, they were.
Uh,
I got my
and then Knights
things
of the
mixed up.
Unicorn were began as a fad of romantically minded sons and daughters of patriarch families in Baldur's Gate. Cool. Knightly orders of, yeah, so this is just examples of the knightly orders. Cool. So that's a good background. Let's see. Race. So for race, I want to grab the Aasimar. So I'm going to grab the Aasimar race.
The ones you want is either from the Volos Guide or the Dungeon Masters. Yeah, like
Okay. So the Protector Aasimar. Is that correct?
yep.
Okay. So if for some reason you don't want things to stack up on you, you can pick the race or the sub race from the Aasimar area instead of doing it from here. And you drag over the actual sub race instead of the race itself. So sometimes people have trouble with that, and I'll show you how that's done. So I'm going to do a no-no here. I'm going to close this sub race here, and I'm going to go to the actual group for the race and scroll down until you get to all the sub races.
That is such a good tip because a lot of times it's easy to close your pop-up box
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, "Oh no, now I've got to start over again." But no,
Right.
you don't.
Right. And if you don't want to have it double up on things, sometimes that happens between different books. You can actually come to the page under the sub races and drag it directly from here instead of dragging it from, the initial setup when you drag the race over. So rather than just dragging the generic race and having the pop up, you can drill down into the races, go to the sub race table, and drag directly from there.
Another fantastic tip. I did not know that.
So I'm going to go with Protector. And just like you said, 14 Charisma, 13 Wisdom, 10 Intelligence, 13 Con, 14 Dex, 15. So I got a +1 to Wisdom. And I think that, and then there was ability trait score increase.
And in this case, because you grabbed your class from the now is it recognize it must be recognizing that you got it from the DMG, right?
Mm-hmm. It
I'm just
does.
saying because when you level, you want to make sure you pick from the DMG and not from the other because it might mess.
Yeah, it could potentially, but it's technically it's supposed to work. But sometimes I don't know, it just doesn't quite pan out.
Yeah,
They
because I
went back
wasn't
and
sure
fixed
because
that.
you had skipped the first part, the race part, and went to the
Mm-hmm.
sub race. I wasn't.
Now I'm going to go to class and level. I'm going to open up this class and level window here. And I'm going to go to classes. Definitely picking Paladin. I'm just going to do the one from the Sword Coast, or excuse me, the Player's Handbook. Now here, I get to pick 2 skills. So I'm going to go back to my skills, just in case, if you forget. And I get to pick 2. So right off the bat, they already have religion and persuasion. So I was going to do insight, so you can tell if someone's lying, and maybe medicine or athletics. What do you think?
Athletics, because she's got the good strength.
Yeah, so she has something, kind of martial. All right, so that's that. Now I'm going to level her up. So since I've already picked her class, I'm going to level her up right from the class level window. So all I do is drag this pin out and back in, and it added Divine Smite and a fighting style and spell casting. And next, okay, now I get the other devotions and oaths. So there's Oath of the Crown, which I probably will take, I'm not sure. The Oath of Devotion. There's also the Oath of the Ancients, Oath of Vengeance, Oath of Conquest, and Oath of Redemption. I think devotion might be a thing.
That's the paladin that I am making in my um,
Cool.
table is also that
An Oath
devotion.
of the Crown is more loyalty to the law and to the king. And Oath of Devotion is more loyalty to the religious aspect. So I'm going to go with the devotion.
Do you think the crown would be better for your purple? Well, you're not purple knight,
No,
but knight.
maybe. So I'm just going to pick with devotion.
That's
So
kind of your generic one, isn't it?
kind of, yeah. The crown and devotion are the most generic ones. So that's not too shabby. And I'm at 3rd level. I'm going to go ahead and level up again. And that adds an ability score improvement, which I'm going to take now. So I get to pick 2 stats or abilities to increase. I'm definitely thinking Charisma 1. So there'll be 1 in there.
What was your charisma at again?
It's at 14 now. And then I get 1 more. So should I put on Dex, Strength, or Con?
But since now you made yourself uneven, wouldn't it be better just to take the 2 in your charisma?
Maybe.
I usually like to pick whatever is odd so that
Hmm.
if I was going to do a 1 and 1 to
Yeah.
make them even so that your modifier goes up by 1. Because if you
Yeah.
only go up, to an odd, it's not really making any
Well, the
change.
charisma helps her with a lot of her skills, but also it helps her with her
Spells, too.
spells
The spell
and
casting is
saves.
charisma
And
based.
saves, yeah. So I'll do that. So I took 2 in charisma, and I'm going to go to the abilities area, and I'm going to notate that.
And put that it was at level 4, too. Yeah, 4.
All right. So that is that. So she's level 4 now. And now I'm going to level up once more. So she got an extra attack, more hit point, and she leveled there. So that's pretty awesome. She's got a lot of different abilities, and that's going to be fun to just check those out. So speaking of abilities, she has 1 type of gaming set or musical instrument. I'm going to say musical instrument. So she plays like a lyra in her spare time. and it goes hand in hand with her devotion. So she sings a lot of religious songs and those sort of things.
I like that.
So she is going to have a Lyra. I'm going to add that to her skills. So I'm going to click the edit button, click this green plus button, and I'm going to type musical instrument : Lyra. I'm going to click on the little star next to it so that I'm proficient. And Lyra could be charisma based or probably dex. In this case, I'm going to make it charisma based because that is her highest form of abilities. So she actually has a +6 to play the Lyra. So she could very convincingly play it. And then she also has persuasion at +6. And that's from her charisma. So if she had performance or deception, any of those would be really high too. And her passive perception for wisdom isn't too bad. It's 11. So the wisdom part is, it doesn't have to be that high, but she has a 13 in it. So that's decent. And she's got 39 hit points at level 5, which isn't too bad. So I already took care of her skill. And she gets an extra attack per round. She has Divine Smite, Divine Sense, Divine Health, Channel Divinity Devotion. So she gets a sacred weapon. So as an action, she can imbue one of her weapons with positive energy. That is
Is this
cool.
something you do on the actions tab? Would make a weapon like that, and you make it from the existing weapon that you have, or is
You
this
could.
something I can?
You could, but this was going to be actually an effect. Because you're going to add your charisma modifier to attack rolls made with that weapon, and it's not permanent. So
How long does this sacred weapon last?
let's see. If the weapon is not already magical, it becomes magical for the duration. 1 minute.
I just seen that. I happen to have this open. 1 minute is a pretty long time. That's good.
Yep. Turn the Unholy is another thing you can do. So a turn creature has to move away. So it's basically turn undead.
Yeah, basically.
But you're turning fiends and undead. So not just undead, you can also turn fiends, which are
Is it
demons or devils.
fiends because of the fact that the character is a Aasimar protector, or is it just the paladin feature?
It's probably the paladin feature. So are fiends devils or are fiends demons?
I don't know.
So we will have to find out. I always forget. It's an evil spirit or demon. So it's more of the demonic nature. So you can turn demons, and you can probably lesser ones, and you can turn undead. Either or. So that's kind of cool. Turn the unholy. Each fiend or undead, yep, it works very much like the regular turn undead. Cool. She has knightly regard, which is she will get shelter and succor from members of your knightly order who are sympathetic to your aims. So it's kind of like shelter, meals, healing, those sort of things. That would be something that you can gain benefit from through roleplay. Let's see. Devotion spells. They get protection from evil, sanctuary, and lesser restoration and zone of truth for her levels. So that's pretty good. Those do not count against her daily amount either. Celestial resistance, that has resistance to necrotic damage and radiant. That's helpful. She has natural healing hands, so she can touch a creature and cause it to regain a number of hit points equal to your level. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So this almost replaces her, what you call it, the lay on hands. So it's supplemental.
Yeah, because it gets five. It's the land hands gets 5 hit points per level, so that's 25 hit points
Mm-hmm.
there.
And then
That's
she gets
lovely.
another 5 on top of
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah. Light bearer. She can cast the cantrip of light, and it uses charisma as her spellcasting ability. And then her tenets of devotion are pretty strict. It's honesty, courage, compassion, honor, and duty. So she has to be pretty strict in her
I'm
devotions.
gonna say that the type of game that this character would be in would be a good one to put in a game where the DM is more strict as far as your alignment.
Yeah. And this here, celestial, common, and maybe elvish.
Sure.
Oh, wait, abyssal. Maybe she
Oh
knows the
yeah,
language.
she's got to be able to talk to them, the demons that
Yep.
she's you know pushing away.
Demon Slayer. So those are her abilities. So divine health, so she's immune to diseases. Divine scent, if she uses one of her spell slots, she can find out the location of an enemy within 60 feet. Um, extra attack, so that's ×2. Fighting style. I'm thinking defense, being that she's a
You think?
protector,
You don't think protector?
or protection. So either defense or protection. Protection is when a creature you can see attacks a target other than you that is within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. You must be wielding a shield. So that's pretty useful, but I think
It's
that,
useful if your party members are next to you. It's not
mm-hmm,
useful if you're,
yeah,
in the fray and everybody's like back a ways.
I
Maybe
know.
your defense might be better. I don't know.
Yeah, that gives
But
you
she's gonna have chainmail, right? So she'll
probably.
have 18.
Yeah,
That would give her 19. She'd be so cool.
yeah. I think I'm gonna give her the defense. I like the protector idea, but I don't think it comes up.
Because I am thinking that because she's a paladin, she is the tank, so she's going to be the one in the fray with everything, and not necessarily the rest of your party is going to be within 5 feet of her.
Yeah, I think it's a little limiting. Okay,
If it
so,
depends on the game that you're playing
mm-hmm,
or the way that the party is built.
right. It's very situational. I like the ongoing +1 to AC. Hmm. I'm gonna notate it. Okay. All right. Looks like we got a choice there. Radiant Soul. Yeah, she can sprout wings from her back. It lasts a minute, and she can fly up to 30 feet. Pretty cool. Okay, so lay on hands. We got that kind of dealt with. Okay, so she knows abyssal, celestial, and common. So that works. Okay, so now for her inventory. So right off the bat, I'm going to give her the Lyra. What do you think, Lady Shell?
Yeah. Well, you already had said that that would be good because of her singing and stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
singing her hymns and stuff. I think that would be perfect.
Lyra. And I'm going to give her a healing potion. At least one. And I'm going to go to library and turn on the parcels. So I forgot to enable that. So I'm going to drag her background. Noble Knight, was it? Knight of the Order. Quite a difference. So she gets a banner and a seal, some traveler's clothing, and a pouch. And then for her weapons and armor, okay. So like you said, she has a shield, chainmail, a battle axe, which I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to give her a long blade instead, like a longsword, or something more paladin-like. What do you think? Should be two-handed? Nah, because she has a shield.
I could always put the drop shield thing, but then
Yeah.
that takes your action, right?
Yeah, and also, yeah, it messes with things. So what I'm going to do is give her maybe a flail. Let me take a look at that. Yeah. +1 flail.
Well,
Yeah.
she is level 5, so you would
Yeah.
think that she would have something, a little more advanced.
Yeah. So she's going to have a +1 flail. And what's the damage? It does 1d8. So that's decent. So yes, I'm going to give her the flail. It's going to be +1. It says refined flail right now, and that's because it's not identified. But once I identify it, it becomes +1 flail. And let's take a look at it. Yep. So she's got 5 javelins and a flail. I'm thinking she might want a light crossbow.
How do you decide whether you want a crossbow or a bow? They're
Situationally,
both the same as far as damage, aren't they?
mm, pretty much, yeah. I think the light crossbow would work for her because she's going to be on the horse or the on the back of a mount, so it's more mechanical. So she can just draw the string back and still be able to hold on to the saddle. Whereas, unless you're trained very well on the back of a horse, it's hard to fire a regular bow.
good to know.
But there's no real rule about it, but that's what comes to mind when I think about it. So I'm giving her a light crossbow, the case for it, which is that, and the bolts. Crossbow bolts. All right. So that should be enough for gear. And she's got a magic item, so that's decent. So I think all I have to do is kind of arrange this stuff together, kind of get everything organized. So she has 2 days worth of food. I'm going to change that to 5. I'm going to give her 2 things of water instead of just 1. She has incense and a blanket and an alms box. She has her religious clothing and traveling gear clothing. She has her instrument. She has a pouch. She has 10 gold, 5 days worth of food, a shield, tinder box. Does she need the tinder box? She doesn't even have torches, so I don't know why. She doesn't have a light source. But she already has dark vision, so maybe candles. I don't know. I can't see her with a bunch of torches. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to get rid of the tinderbox. Oh, she has candle. Okay, that works. 10 candles. Okay, so that's that. So while I am organizing the inventory, Lady Shell, why don't you tell us about your paladin a little bit, the one that you're
Oh,
working on?
about my paladin. Let's
Yeah.
see. I will open my thing back up. I am working on a lady paladin because I'm going to make a party of female characters. And the first one that I started with is a lady paladin. And all of my characters are going to be level 3. And the paladin that I designed is a dragonborn paladin, and she has a background of a Harper agent because I thought it would be an interesting change. I've never used that background before, and it just I like the Harpers. And I did 46 drop the lowest for my stats, so I will have a little different stats than like what Laerun had. My character has 17 strength, 13 dex, 13 con, 10 intelligence, 12 wisdom, and 16 charisma at level 3. Her background for Dragonborn is a silver dragon, which means that she has cold breath weapon, and she's also resistant to cold. And as far as my I picked devotion also, the oath of devotion. And I have, what else did I pick? Oh, the fighting style that I chose. I forgot to write it down, but picked. I believe I picked protector. So mine is the opposite of what Laerun picked. So yeah, you have to be within 5 feet of the person next to, one of your party members. If they get attacked and they're within 5 feet, you can like say, "Hey, nope, nope, attack me instead." Haha. Which it kind of fits a paladin, but you have to be wielding a shield and you have to have somebody next to you. But that's the one that I picked, and I'm not done with this, so I haven't got um oh, yes, I did do inventory, sorry. I left the battle axe on there for the main weapon. She's wearing chainmail. She has 5 javelins and regular shield. And I put her amulet on her shield. Well, the holy symbol is on her shield. Usually, when I do a cleric or a paladin, in this case, I put the holy symbol on an amulet on your neck. This way, I thought it would be interesting to change it up and put it on the shield. I haven't got the spells or anything done, and I haven't picked the personality traits or anything, but that is my Lady Paladin.
Anything else, Shell?
Nope, that's all I got because I haven't finished her yet. Now, Standard Tank just says, "How on earth do you carry 5 javelins?" Can you
Um,
tell us the answer to that?
there is a thing, or first of all, javelins are a little bit smaller than spears in length and diameter. The other thing is they kind of have like a quiver. So you would hold them in a longer quiver. It's a tube, and you would carry them on your back or like a bandolier type thing. And when you need to throw one, you'd pull it out like you would a spear and launch it. And generally, don't look to get those back because they're not as durable usually as a spear.
You mean as opposed to when you say, "Hey, can I get half my arrows back to the DM after your
Well,
battle is?"
you can get some of them back, but technically, being that she's riding on the back of a Pegasus, if she throws one of those, it's going to be really hard to find it unless it's stuck into the creature.
Good point. Hey, now you mentioned that she was going to be riding a horse. Did you give her a horse for
I'm
in this
going
one?
to. Yep,
Cool.
yep. She's actually going to have a Pegasus. So,
Of course.
mm-hmm. Because she's a
Now,
special.
getting talking about the weapons and stuff, I thought I'd bring up a point in my coworker's game. We
Mm-hmm.
have our tank is a half orc. He's a fighter, but he's like really into weapons, and he's got like 2 battle axes, no, does he have javelin? No, he has spears. I can't remember how many, but he special ordered with the armorer uh, to make a bandolier for his stuff, and then he's like got stuff carried on his back. And we someone posted, I can't find the picture, but there was a picture of a guy that had like 50,000 weapons, and he's like all loaded up, and that's Mike. That's our fighter. He's all like super full of weapons.
All right, so I'm gonna pick some personality traits. One of them that comes to mind is this: I'm haunted by memories of war. I can't get the images of violence out of my mind. So she's a little bit haunted, and I'm gonna pick one other, and it's gonna say something that's similar. I've lost too many friends, and I'm slow to make new ones. So she probably lost a lot of her allies and friends during a battle or a war. So she's kind of lost her faith in humanity, I guess, or in friendship. Let's see. Did I just close that? Yes, I did. Okay. So her ideals: greater good, responsibility, independence, might, live and let live, or nation. I'm going to have to say greater good or responsibility. So I do what I must and obey just authority. Nah. Greater good, our lot is to lay down our lives in defense of others. Yeah, I think that's more her.
That's definitely your protector paladin.
Yes.
Also, I wanted to make a point that our chat is saying that Your paladin should not be carrying any ranged weapons because they are cowardly weapons used from a distance.
Well, that could be construed as the same would be for the starting equipment for the thrown javelins. So that sort of I don't think she would use the crossbows as much as she would her sword or her flail. But being if she's in a situation where she has to fire upon somebody, then she's going to use her javelins first, and then she'll use her crossbow as a last resort. I don't really think that's her main weapon. But I remember back in the day that paladins had kind of a stipulation on them where they couldn't use ranged weapons because it was cowardly. I don't see her being a tournament knight. Um, she's she's a celestial, so she has a whole different mindset. I don't think she has the typical human knight kind of backstory. Hers is more magical and holy and angelic. So her having crossbow doesn't bother me, but I do understand the thought behind what the comment was.
I just wanted to point it out from chat.
That's cool though. Everyone's entitled. Let's see. So that is her knightly thing for her ideals. For the bond, I would still lay down my life for the people I served with. That sounds like her. Someone saved my life on the battlefield. To this day, I will never leave a friend behind. That could also be, these are tied into her backstory. Um,
Yeah, that sounds like it fits really well.
I'll never forget the crushing defeat from my company. That could be.
That fits in with where you said
hmm
that was haunted.
Those who fight beside me are those who are dying for. I think all these are good. I fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Eh, I think the other one, I lay down my life for the people I serve with, or I would. Someone saved my life. I like that one. That might be part of the. Maybe she feels guilty because that person saved him or saved her, but that person ended up dying.
And Elton John wrote a song about it.
What's it called?
Someone saved my life tonight.
Cool. And her flaw. Everybody's got to have a thing to gripe about. I'd rather eat my armor than admit when I'm wrong. I
I've
don't
had
think
that
so.
one before.
That is silly. I obey the law even if the law causes misery. I don't think so. My hatred of my enemies is blind and unreasoning. That could be her. I made a terrible mistake in battle that cost many lives, and I would do anything to keep that mistake secret. Maybe. I have a little respect for anyone who is not a proven warrior. The monstrous enemy we face in battle still leaves me quivering with fear. I can see that. Maybe they fought a greater demon or devil or something.
Well, she is, haunted,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
Okay. So she has a little bit of fear, and that's healthy. So, yeah, there we go. So we got a yellow-bellied paladin that's only afraid
Crossbow.
of with a crossbow. Yeah. You are not going to touch me. All right. That takes care of the role-playing aspect somewhat. And let's see. Knightly regard. Yep, that we already went over that. That's like gaining all kinds of help from other knightly orders and such. And let's see. So I think she's pretty good for that stuff for now. She worships Torm. That's her deity of choice. Torm the Protector. And she did have some tenets of faith, which I'll put in her notes, which was the honor, duty, all those things. So I'll do that later. Okay, so she's done with her background. We got her equipment sorted. So she has the only thing kind of extra that she got was I switched out her battle axe with the flail, and then I also gave her a 1 potion of healing, and her flail is +1. And then the only other thing that might be a little OP is that she has a Pegasus. But other than that, I don't think she's too bad for 5th level. And the only reason she has the Pegasus is because she's in this knightly order. And she's angelic. So that's that. So there's the crossbow, the flail, the javelins. Now I'm going to do some customizing here. So the flail that she has, being that it's magic, I'm going to give it an extra ability. So it's going to do an additional D4 of damage. So it's either going to be force or radiant. What do you think?
Radiant.
So
It fits her celestial being.
So she has a +1 flail of radiance.
You gonna give it a name? Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. So +1 flail of radiance. That way we kind of know it's somewhat unique. Okay. So that's that. That's that. Okay, so she gets 6 spell slots, and she gets 1st, 2nd level spells. So I'm going to take care of that now. She gets 1 free cantrip, being the light bearer. So I will grab the spell banner, and then I'm going to filter it to the Rob Tui's 5e effects coding spells. And I'm just going to search for light. And here we go. So light is a touch-based spell. And I'm just going to drag this to the spell slot. And there it is. So that's her freebie. Now, it says it's based on charisma. So I need to go to her spells cantrips area, go to the metadata, and double check. And yes, it is based on charisma. So that is good. And let's see. She has some spells that comes from her devotion. So the following are bonus spells. So she gets protection from evil, protection from evil. It's touch and concentration.
Are these gonna go in their own power?
No, because she still has to use spell slots. So they don't really need to go protection from energy.
Wow, that's a lot of protection there.
Yeah, I meant to be evil and good here.
Oh,
Okay.
no wonder.
Okay. So that's that. And then she gets sanctuary. Yep. That's a bonus action. And then she gets lesser restoration, which is really helpful.
Now, I always get confused on these, extra spells that you get in different classes and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
where it says paladin level, and then it's down where you're grabbing them. It's spell 3rd, spell 5th. Now, is it saying the spell level is 5th level,
No,
or they're saying
it's the paladin
the
level.
paladin level is 5th
Paladin
level?
level.
Okay, good to know.
Yep. So lesser restoration and zone of truth. Okay. So those are just
Suggested a name for your flail to call it the flail of the holy sun.
okay. I like it. So I'll go back there and change it. I like it.
Okay, wait a minute. Badger named it. Standard Tank just said it, but Badger named it. Got it. Oh, yeah, he did. Whoops. Yeah.
There we go. Flail of the Holy Sun.
Nice.
Do they mean sunshine or Jesus?
SUN.
Okay. I was hoping so.
Oh, you mean it was like Father, Son, and Holy Ghost type
Yeah.
sun?
Yeah. Okay.
We
Okay.
like help from our chat to help
Yep.
us build.
And now she gets to pick first and second level spells from the Paladin list. So I'm going to filter to level 1. She gets to pick, 4 of them. And I'm going to change the source to Paladin. All right. Definitely want Bless. I always love that spell.
Me too.
Um,
And at level 5, then they can do it for, let's see now, 3, 4, 5. So you can bless up to 5 people in at level. Oh, wait a minute. No, you can only do it in a level 2 spot, right? You can
yeah,
do it at level 1 or level 2 because you
right.
have to take. I'm used to playing clerics, and yeah.
Shield of Faith.
Disregard my rambling.
Shield of Faith. So she gets 2 more. Heroism. Nah.
Now you're not going to take any like cure wounds or anything like that because
I
you don't
thought
have
about
lay
it.
on hands
Yeah, I
plus
got
your
2.
healing
Yeah,
thing.
I don't really need too much healing.
Plus,
Thunder a
hopefully,
Smite.
there's a cleric in the party.
Yeah, I'm going to do Thunder a Smite. That looks awesome.
What is heroism?
Wrathful Smite. Heroism, it just keeps them from fear and from running away. Like it gives them temporary hit points and they're immune to being frightened. So it's not too bad.
And it goes to one of your party members.
Yes.
I guess you could cast it on yourself if you wanted to.
Detect magic, detect poison, disease. Command is nice.
Flee.
Now. Okay, so there's
When you
command.
do command, do they get a save
Yes.
against it?
Yes. Yes.
Which type of save do they get?
They get a wisdom save. So in her case, it's a DC 14. They have to roll above that to save. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I get 1 more. I think Shield of Faith. I already have that. Searing Smite is fire. I don't want that. Wrathful Smite is psychic damage.
Would a protector paladin want to use compelled duel?
Yeah, that might bring them in. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's cool. I'll get that. That's cool. Okay. So that's the paladin. Now I need the second level. She gets 2 more. So I'm going to filter this down to 2. Now these are the spells that she has to pick from. So locate object, magic weapon, protects from poison, find steed.
But
That'll be
isn't
cool.
she's already riding a steed, or does that call the
Summon a
so
spirit
does
that
this say?
assumes the form of it. That's kind of crazy.
So she's already got
I'm going to give her aid.
riding thing.
Aid is good.
Aid is always fun.
Yep,
Does that
aid
say
is good.
magic weapon? Nah, she's already got that special weapon. She doesn't need that.
She already
And
has
she's
lesser
already
restor.
protected against disease, so she doesn't need the poison.
Um,
Lesser restoration might be
she already
nice.
has it as a bonus spell. Um,
Huh.
I think locate object. Yeah, if she
Does
loses
locate
anything.
object? Wait, does it include? Do you have to have some kind of a material thing to do that?
Describe or name an object that is familiar to you. You sense the
Okay.
direction of its location as long as the object is within 1,000 feet of you.
Well, 1,000 feet is a long time. I mean, a long
So if you lose
distance.
your sword or something, that'd be awesome.
The only thing that I don't like about those type of spells, those
Hmm.
locate spells, is like it says like, oh yeah, it's to the south, but it doesn't say how far to the south
Right.
or,
Yeah, they're kind of
somewhere
situational.
within 1,000 feet. I mean, I don't want anything. I just want you to tell me where it is, not general direction. I'm just.
Branding smite. That's what I'll take.
What's that one do?
It brands them, does 2d6 radiant.
Oh, cool.
So that'll bolster her attack. Okay, so that's her spells. And now I'm going to make a new section.
When does the paladin get third level spells? Because like the cleric gets a lot of spells, the paladin gets
Probably
not as
7.
many spells.
Probably level 7.
Oh, 7. Okay, so it's a
Hmm.
ways away.
Hmm. Because they're only a half caster. So they get half as much spells and then takes half more to get to the spell level than a regular caster. Okay, so I want to make a new section, and this is going to be her paladin abilities.
This is where her divine, not divine, like the undead thing and
Hmm.
the
Yep,
weapon thing goes,
yep,
right?
yep. So I'm going to go to class features. I have to unfilter all of this garbage down here. Okay, so here's all the paladin stuff. So she gets sacred weapon as one of her divinity things. And then she gets like turn the unholy. She gets divine health, divine sense, and I think that's pretty much, let's see, lay on hands, she gets that. And I'm going to have to set up that, I think I'm going to have to set up the healing hands myself, which won't be bad. So I'm going to unfilter this.
Now, because these are abilities, we're gonna have to go to the header and make sure it's set to charisma, correct?
Hmm. So I go to here, and yeah, some of these would be charisma based.
Hey, I see that one that says Avenging Angel. When does she get that?
I don't know. That could be another archetype. Okay, so I'm gonna make this healing hands.
I just looked it up on my table. 20th level. It's a cantrip, but 20th level. It says you can assume the form of an angelic avenger. Using your action, you undergo a transformation. For 1 hour, you gain the following benefits. Well, of course, this is level 20. Wings sprout from your back. Wait, doesn't she already have wings? Because she's a celestial thingy. Grants you a flying speed of 60 feet. You emanate an aura of menace in a 30-foot radius. The first time an enemy creature enters the aura or starts its turn there during a battle, the creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become frightened from you for the 1 minute or until it takes any damage. Blah, 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 blah. I won't continue since this is like not applicable. I hope I get to level 20 one day.
Okay, I'm going to set up Healing Hands. So this is the trait. So if you have a skill or ability that's not coded, it comes from a third-party source, which this might be, because there's really no Healing Hands here. But it says, as an action, you can touch a creature. It causes it to regain a number of hit points equal to your level. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So I'm going to drag this down to the hotkeys. And this came from this abilities area. So what I'm going to do is drag this to the Paladin abilities. And it's already kind of set up. So it's pretty much set up because the wording is correct here. So I don't have to do anything. Yeah, it's set to level. Yeah, perfect. So there's the extra 5 points of healing. So now I need to set up the usages for these.
I
Okay.
like that you put it in your hotkeys down there. I never thought to put some stuff in, like that particular thing. I put stuff in hotkeys, but not like that. I didn't think. I always
Well, I
use
only
the
do
actions
that.
tab for all my stuff.
Well, what I did is I took it from the abilities, and I had a feeling that that one wasn't actually in the codings. So I just took it down there, and then I drag it to my actions tab, and if I need to edit it or add anything to it, I can.
Oh, okay.
So this is touch. And it has a description. So that's why I put the little T there, so I know it's a touch thing. And then I could change it to preparation. Change that to 1. Now your divine health is ongoing. So when you play, you will turn this on and it'll be on the whole time. Divine Scent, you have to use a spell slot. Wait, you gain this feature a number of times. Well, you can use it a number of times. Never mind. Yeah, of 1 plus your charisma modifier. Divine Sense. So she has 4. So she can use Divine Sense 4 times. Cool. That works. So there's 4 daily. Lay on hands. You have to take a long rest. So there's 1 daily on that. Sacred Weapon. As an action, for 1 minute, you add your charisma modifier to attack rolls. The weapon also emits 20-foot radius light. You can end the effect, or you can, on your turn of any other action, if you're no longer holding or carrying this weapon, or if you fall unconscious, the effect ends. So it's 1 minute. For 1 minute, you add your charisma modifier. Okay. So let me take a look at that. So I want to expand this. Okay. So sacred weapon. It says attack, charisma, damage type, magic, self. Okay. So it's already set. As an action, yep. From 1 minute, you add your charisma modifier. Okay. With a minimum of +1. And it has a 20-foot light. So I'm going to put that on there too. So that reminds me that it has the 20-foot light on it. Okay. So you present it. It's 30 feet. They have to make a save. It lasts for a minute. Okay. It doesn't tell me how many times I can use it. So let me look at my channel divinity, because that's what this is. Channel divinity devotion. So you get 2 of them. Sacred weapon, which stays with you. Huh, it doesn't say how many times you can use this. I would think it'd be the same as, your level or something like that, but there is no limit to that. That's cool. So that's pretty powerful.
The weapon one? I thought the weapon one was for 1 minute.
Yeah, it's for 1 minute, but
Oh,
you
you
can
mean
end
when
it.
does it reset?
Yes. That one just resets no matter what. This turn of unholy, you can do it infinitely, I guess.
That is powerful.
Hmm.
But then they are a paladin, so I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense that theirs would be more than a cleric's turn
Hmm.
undead would be.
Hmm. And this isn't just a regular one. It's to turn the unholy, so it's demons and undead. Okay. So that is cool. So that's all the special abilities.
I think this character would be good for an Avernus campaign.
Yes, I think you're right. And that's kind of why I made it, just in case someone's making something like this. Okay. So now I'm going to set up another section. This one is going to be for standard actions. So you have 4 standard actions up here. So let's see. I'm going to click on the star. Now this is just going to be standard, turns that you can take instead of casting a spell or fighting. And all I'm going to do is drag these right where it says, this blank here. That way it goes in the right section. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
I hate when it alphabetizes.
Yeah, I do too. The way that you can get away from that, sort of, is to put numbers in front. So if you want your abilities to go to a certain spot and not just alphabetically, you can put a number in front of these titles so that it'll go in the order you want it to go. So like paladin abilities, if you wanted this further down, you could put a 3 in front of it. If you want your standard actions up on top, you'd put a 1 there. So it will
Good tip.
alphanumeric. Okay, so that's that. Racial abilities. So these are her racial traits. So new section again. She has a plethora of those.
Oh, that's what it was. The healing hands was a racial ability.
Ah,
Whenever it asked about
that's
that.
right. So I will put that, I'll drag that into her racial abilities. I have it in her paladin stuff. I got ahead of myself. That might be why I couldn't find it. Because I was looking in paladin abilities, not racial. There it is, healing hands.
What else did she get?
Just a sec here. So healing hands. She gets resistance. She gets radiant soul. So she can fly. She has resistance to radiant or necrotic. And she has healing hands. And she got the light spell too. It's pretty awesome. Not bad. Okay, so that's the majority of it. Now I'm going to make one more section. And Lady Shell, do you know what that is?
Consumables?
That's right. Totally not necessary, but very helpful.
Especially since you have that healing potion there that you want to show how to make it useful.
That's right. So we're going to use this section just to keep track of items that go away after you use them. So, healing potion. Water skin. Rations. Candles. Now I'm going to change the mode to preparation mode and make sure that you have all your spells available to you by clicking on these bubbles. You can't cast all of them, but those are the ones you have a choice of. And up here, I'm going to change these to once and 2 water skins that she's carrying. And she has 10 candles, 1 healing potion, 5 days worth of food. Now I'm going to right click on the potion and add functionality. So add action, and this time it'll be a healing function. And now if I click on this magnifying glass, I need to define how much this healing is. So this is for a regular healing potion. So if I right click on the 4-sided dice, grab 2 of them, drag it up here, drop it, and then put 2 for bonus. That is her healing potion. So now when I change this to combat and actions, that's what this should look like, just like this. So she has a lot of stuff to keep track of. So this consumables area, you don't have to have it, but we use it to keep track of anything in here that can be consumed, like her rations, candles, water, potions. Even if you had like a magic item that has charges, you could actually make a section for that and keep track of how many charges you've used. And once you run out of charges, it'll disappear. And if it's one of those weapons where it resets after a rest, that you can set it for that. Or if it resets after a long rest. So I think she's pretty good. I'm going to save her. Now on to her horse. So she doesn't have a traditional horse. She has a Pegasus. So I'm going to go to the races, or excuse me, I'm going to go to the NPCs. Let's see. And I'm going to search for the Pegasus. All right. So the Pegasi, they're pretty tough. They have a 12 natural armor class. They have 59 hit points. They even have saving throws. They have perception. They can speak Celestial, Common, Elvish, and Sylvan, but they can't speak. And their challenge rating is 2. They have their hooves, in which they can attack with 2d6 plus 4 bludgeoning damage. So they're not wimps. They can run 60 feet and fly 90 feet. And then it shows in images of it. They're born on the plains. They're noble mounts. And a Pegasus must be persuaded to serve a good aligned creature as a mount. But when it does so, it forges a lifelong bond with its new companion. So we're going to have to name this Pegasi here. Should we call her Peggy? Pegasus is... That's pretty awesome. So what I will do is on her notes, I'm just going to put that she has a Pegasus mount. We know her as Peggy. What do you think, Lady Shell? I can't hear you, Lady Shell. Can the stream hear us? Hopefully, the stream can hear us. So I know I'm still babbling. Let's see. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Lady Shell. Anyhow, so I build this paladin and our Pegasus mount. This will be used probably more for show, not so much combat. But I don't think that she would fly this thing down into the Avernus. I think she'd leave it on at least the prime material plane. She's swift and reliable, and good old Peggy here probably has a good relationship with her owner. So they're kind of like friends, I guess. And so she's got her abilities all set up here for her musical instrument. All her stats and stuff are adjusted accordingly. I don't think I picked this fighting style. I think I left that out. So I need to add that to her class ability. So let me do that. So I need to go to here, go back to class features.
I'm testing my mic. Can you hear me yet?
Now I can, yes.
Yay, I'm back. Oh, I was okay, couple things. Yes, I like Pegasus, Peggy the Pegasus, and unarmed strike. Your character needs an unarmed
Unarmed. Oh, if you mean just in case they pick something up.
It was just something that was on my
Oh.
my list, so I thought I'd bring it up.
So
But
she
not
has
mandatory.
protection.
Hey,
Howdy, Heob. So she needs this protection. I forgot to add that to her abilities. So fighting style protection. That wasn't right. That's not right. It was defense. So she gets a +1 to her armor class. So that's easy enough to fix.
just do it on the
Yeah.
page under the AC?
Yep.
Okay.
So here under AC, I can just add this to this miscellaneous. And that will add the permanent +1. So now she has a 19. So I almost forgot that. So that's cool.
Hey, you can't forget the 19 AC.
No doubt.
That's great.
That's great for not wearing heavy armor. Because she's only wearing chainmail.
I
So
thought
that's
she was wearing chainmail.
right, but that's not that heavy like plate.
Well, yeah.
Plate is really heavy.
Clink, clink, clink.
Uh-huh. And she is a little bit more mobile in chain. So she's got a lot of things here. So if I played this character, I would enable her divine health. And I have to make sure she's on the combat tracker first. So divine health. So that's on. She gets her celestial resistance.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Regarding her steed, her whatever she was Peggy the Pegasus. Is she going to be an NPC that the character would have control?
Yes. So what I would do is again bring up that stat block that I closed. I would add it to the combat tracker as the DM. The player can't do this. Change it to friendly. And then I would drag this pin to the player when they were connected to the table. And then the player would take this Pegasus and drag it to their hotkey. And if the Pegasus was in the combat tracker, like Peggy is right now, the player could control it. So
you just can't pass the turn.
Yeah, you just can't pass the turn, yeah. And then, so I have, let's see. So I've enabled her divine health and her resistance. So everything else is situational, I think. Lay on hands, divine senses, yeah, that's situational. Sacred weapon, you could cast that. Let's see. so that's that. So now I'm going to test said character.
Put her up against Shocktopus. Good luck.
No, I'm going to put her up against something more, a couple demons or something.
I love Shocktopus. It never gets any love. Yeah, I see your point, though.
Shadow demon. Yikes. Oh, I don't have enough stuff on here. I need to get the monster manual. Wait, I do have it. What am I doing? I guess I need a specific demon name. Mains demons. Yep. So mains demons are lesser.
Oh, did you? You must have found some. The only one that I
Yeah.
found in mine is Shadow Demon.
Yeah. Well, this is a specific demon. You have to know their name. Because this is a class of fiend. So let's do this. I'm going to make an encounter. So mains demons, and let's think of one that's a little bit tougher. Maybe Casme.
I have no idea. I'm not good with demons, apparently. Yeah, that's a large fiend demon.
Yep.
Challenge
So one
accepted.
Casme. One Casme and two mains demons. Casmes can fly.
And they're resistant to cold, fire, and lightning, and
Yep.
immune to poison. Oh, they have condition immunities poison. Oh, huh. The good thing it's not immune to what do you call it? Radiant. That would be bad. I'm gonna
Yeah,
guess that none of this abyssal type of things is gonna be immune to radiant, because that
probably
would be
not.
weird.
Okay, so there's the evil ones. Now I'm going to find a map. So this is a college, and there are some strange woods nearby. There is a garden-like thing that I can look at. Yeah, courtyard. So what we're going to say is that the demons have penetrated the magic college, and the Pegasus, Peggy, and Shelda are basically summoned to contain this outbreak of demons. Maybe one of the students accidentally summoned it during their practice. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to add a layer, which will be a grid, and I'm going to go with 50. Yep. So that's a pretty big archway. It's 40 feet wide. And then there's like a little dais up here. Pretty cool. So I'm going to place all the baddies first.
Could I suggest a good person to be like maybe? Is it? Did you say this was like a school or something that
Yeah,
they're at?
it's a school of wizards.
How about a Coati? Couati. It's a medium celestial,
Hmm.
and it does spell casting, so it kind of could be studying there. And it's
Yeah.
lawful.
Okay. Well, I have two mains and a Chasme demon. This thing is up in the air, and these guys are on the ground. So the Pegasuses.
I tried to hover over your creature. I
Haha.
don't think that works in a stream.
Yep.
Those things are big.
Yeah, they are.
You do have a grid, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you do. I could see because it's like offset. I hate when it happens. Like, how far up in the air is it?
I don't know yet.
She can be up in the air too because her
Yep.
Pegasus is flying.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm gonna roll initiative. So they all have just seen each other. So it's the battle is on. So this Pegasus is going to represent Shelda without being mounted. So I'm going to find a different token for Shelda. Because I don't want her mounted. Yeah.
Maybe Peggy is out in the pasture eating food or something. Wow,
Yeah.
you have a lot of tokens.
Okay. So I will use, see, these are the ones that are mounted. So I'm going to use one of these, this one, the red shield. And when you change this, you have to also change it down here.
Do you have to redrag it to the
Yes.
combat tracker?
Yeah, if you change something, I just did the redrag the token. But if
Oh,
you were to change anything on the character sheet, like stats or anything, yes, you'd have to delete it and re-add it. Okay, so Peggy is in the air.
Badger had a suggestion here. Said,
What's up?
wouldn't it make more sense that she comes in flying on her mount being summoned to take care of the demon threat?
Yep, something like that. So,
But she's not on the.
well, she was. When she arrived, she dismounted. Okay, so I'm going to roll initiative. So, initiative rolls for everything. Okay, so Peggy goes first. So, Peggy swoops down, drops Shoga down, and Shelda doesn't want to be on the back of Pegasus just in case because of the Chasme. And she whistles to her and points at the Chasme to go attack it. So Peggy moves, flies. She's about 30, 40 feet up in the air. And she flies over to the Chasme demon, who's making a beeline literally down here to the courtyard. So I'm going to lock the token. So Peggy is going to move here and within melee range. And she is going to kind of fly somewhat above the Chasme at an angle, and she's going to attack with her hooves. So if you bring up her stat block, it says, yeah, so there's no multi-attack or anything. So she gets one attack roll. And she missed. So the Chasme just kind of dove down further as she tried to gain altitude and is like kicking her hooves at the Chasme. So it just kind of saw her out of the corner of its eye and decided to fly downward to avoid that. So that's her turn. Shelda immediately moves forward and she's going to cast Bless. So this is a paladin spell. So I'm going to check off the Bless and she's going to cast it at second level. Oh, she doesn't have to. There's not enough people. So she's just going to cast it at a normal level at first level. So right now, let's see, I have the concentration effect that goes on to Shelda. And then I'm going to drag the effect to her and to the Pegasus. And then she is going to move to engage the mains, and that's her turn. And she's kind of like keeping an eye on the Pegasus. She's worried about her. All right, Casme is going to make this horrid droning sound, which demons are immune. Any other creature that starts its turn within 30 feet of the Casme must make a DC 12 Constitution save or fall unconscious for 10 minutes. So, luckily, this thing probably can't do this all the time. So, that's what it's going to do. So, it isn't right next to the Pegasus, but pretty close. And it's close enough. So, it's going to make this droning sound, this really loud buzzing.
Wow.
It's not close enough.
I fought in a battle with something that had something similar where it was like a stink or something, and then you had to roll against it, or else, or I think you were, I can't remember what happened to you, but it wasn't good.
Well, thank God that the horse, or excuse me, Pegasus made the saving throw. So it just kind of shook its head, like trying to, you know, avoid the power, and it basically just keeps flying down towards the ground, and the Pegasus is keeping up.
How far is the spell for?
30 feet.
And it didn't affect our.
No, because you have height in there too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they're about 35, 40 feet up in the air roughly, plus whatever
Good
distance.
old elevation problems.
Yep. All right. So this mains immediately engages Shelda, and these things are just kind of the lowest level of demons. So this thing kind of just comes lumbering after her, and he makes an attack with its claws. And it just kind of harmlessly slaps its ugly looking arms and claws up against her shield. So it really didn't do any damage. So that's its turn, and it's going to move this way to allow room for the other. So the other mains is allowed to move 20 feet. So it moves here, kind of stops and looks around. Ugh. And trying to figure out its next attack or target. Notices they're engaged, so it's going to head over that way. So that's its turn. So Peggy again is going to dive bomb the Casme. Hopefully she hits this time. Yes. So she rolled a 20. That is cool. Damn, all that damage. So the Casme took 16 points of damage on that. So that hurt. So it's pretty pissed off now. Shelda is going to pull out her flail, and I believe that she can use. Oh, that's an action. So she'd have to turn that on. So I'm just going to use her flail, the flail of the Holy Sun. So she wallops.
Any bonus actions?
Not really. Compelled Duel, Sanctuary, Shield of Faith, but they're all spells.
Fighting, so no
Yeah,
need to
Branding Smite. So she missed. She rolled a 1. So she drops her flail, kind of haphazardly, and she loses the rest of her turn trying to recover from that failed attempt. So that sucked.
Shouldn't have named her Shell
Shelda.
Because when I'm in your games, I always die.
So the Chasme demon is going to try to attack the Pegasus with its proboscis. It's got a really nasty looking beak. So he flies up towards the Pegasus. And of course he hits. This is going to hurt. Ouch. Oof.
What
That
kind
almost...
of freaking damage is that?
It does 46 plus 2 plus 76
yeah,
necrotic.
Low numbers, isn't there? I can't
Yeah, some of them are. It didn't kill her, but it took a big gouge right out of her belly there. So that really hurt the Pegasus. The Pegasus might have to flee. Okay, so Main's demon that's next to Shelda is still swinging its nasty claws at her. And it fumbled. So it also lost its turn. So it went after Shelda. She's fetching her shield and her flail, and also kind of stumbled and fell. So that was its turn. However, this other one is moving into range and is going to execute an attack with its claws. And miss. So harmlessly, she raises her shield just in time as the claws come out and slaps her and ends up slapping the shield instead.
Good thing she's got that 19 AC.
No doubt. Okay, Pegasus is going to... I'm going to roll. If it rolls 1 to 4, it's going to disengage and fly away. Yes. So Pegasus has had enough. It is no longer going to fight the Chasme. And its flying speed is much more speedy than the Chasme. And I think the Chasme doesn't have a chance to really catch it. However, it still has the droning, I believe. Let me see. How often can he do that?
What is the flying speed for your Pegasus?
90 feet.
If she can get 90 feet away from that thing can't hit her with
Yeah,
its
that's
acid.
right. So it tries to drone and stay with her, but it isn't able to keep up. And she ends up flying away. So she's gone. The Chasme is not fighting here for a while. It might return. So Shelda feels bad, like guilty that she put Peggy in that situation. So she is going to try to finish these things off. Now she gets 2 attacks. I forgot that. So she's going to get 2 swings this time. Well, the last time she swung, she dropped and screwed up her attack. So let's see. She recovered her weapon. And this time, she fumbled again? Oh my god. So she loses her other attack. And she's basically bobbling her attacks. So the Chasme, I'm going to roll. On a 1 through 4, it's going to return to the battle. On a 5 and 6, it's still pursuing the Pegasus. He's still pursuing the Pegasus. So he'll be out for another turn, at least. Okay, the Main's demon is trying to take this opportunity. And he misses. So he doesn't even come close. The other Main's demon is going to follow suit. And also misses. So this is a big misfit battle right here. Shelda is trying to gain her composure.
I have a question about her attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Since she has 2 attacks, could she not summon that special weapon as her first one?
No, those are actions, not attacks.
Oh, it's not actions.
Yep.
I was
And not to
thinking she had
mention,
2 actions.
she already has a spell, concentration spell, so hopefully she'll be able to maintain it.
The bless, yeah, man. Can you imagine? Everything's been missing with all that bless. Come on.
I hear you. Finally, she delivers a lethal blow.
Nice.
And it just does some heavy damage against that Casme demon. Kind of crushes in its skull and its shoulder. And then she whips around her shield to block the one that she just attacked. And puts the shield in between her and it and swings her flail at the other one. And that's another nice hit. So she scored 2 hits on separate targets. And this mains is dying. It's gone. So it dissolves into a pile of goo. And it's like sizzling and kind of smoking. So she's going to move here. And that'll be her turn. Casme, I'm going to roll again. It's going to return, but it has to take another round to come back. So it's given up chasing the Pegasus, and now it's making its return. So the other mains, the one that's remaining, it's got some damage to it, but it's still got a little life to it. And it rolled an 18 and still missed. Boo. So her armor class is kick ass. If it would have rolled one more. So she's going to try to finish this guy off. So she ends up.
Use any of her smite spells on it?
She can, but they're not bonus actions.
Oh, that's true.
And, so she'd have to, use a turn to use it. So she uses Sacred Weapon. That's not going to work. But she hasn't used her Turn the Unholy. This thing is a demon. So, undead and fiends. But she's going to finish this one off. Maybe she'll try that on the Casme. So, she's going to take another couple swings at it. And this time her flail hopefully hits true. And that one clobbers it. So that puts that one out. So she got rid of that mains demon. And the Casme is still flying to return to her. So she is going to take her second attack and prepare herself for the inevitable. So she's going to take out her the javelin, and throw it on her second attack at the Casme. But I got to see how much range that it has first. So the javelin thrown, oh yeah, 30 to 120 feet. So this thing is almost, returned. So she has enough time to throw it. So I'm going to target the Casme demon. And so it's within range. And she's going to lob that thing at it. Probably miss, but you never know. Oh, so that's a hit. And going to use the piercing damage. All right, so she damaged the Casme with one of her javelins. So that was pretty cool. So she finished that Casme, spun around and threw this javelin up in the air at the Casme that's approaching her. So that was pretty cool. So on this round, the Casme can move into range. So it's buzzing around up here and tries to dive bomb her with his proboscis. Very wicked attack. And misses. Thank God. So it dive bombed her. It did like a little bombing run, and it ended up here, and it's just maybe 5 or 10 feet above her, so it's within range. So she's kind of worried about this thing, so she is going to try Turn the Unholy. So she's going to cast it, and it failed. So it now has the turned thing on it, and basically that's her turn. So the Casme has to leave the area. It is compelled by her turn to leave the area. So a turn creature must spend its turns trying to move away as far as it can. And it can't willingly move to a space within 30 feet of you. It also can't take reactions. For its action, it can use only the dash or try to escape from the effect that prevents it from moving. If there's nowhere to move, the creature can use a dodge action. So basically, she turned it away. And good, thank God she did, because this thing still had quite a few hit points. So that's how that played out. I'm going to call it good. I think her character's working pretty good. Except for her ones.
She didn't even take any damage.
Nope. She took 2 demons out and turned that one away. I mean, it could fly around incessantly, and then when the 1 minute goes by, it could come back and attack. But I think by this time she would be reinforced by wizards. So that probably is just her way of doing her job and then moving on. And then she's going to go attend her horse, Peggy, because Peggy is seriously injured.
She needs some major healing.
Mm-hmm. So that's the end of that. So there goes Shelda, the Aasimar Paladin. Any questions from the chat?
No, I think everybody kind of shut up. Badger was here and he was talking, but he left, and now nobody is talking. We
Okay.
still have 7 people in the chat, including myself. But yeah, I don't see any.
Yeah, he
Does anybody
says.
have any questions?
Yeah, he says. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll be back. You'll know it's me. I never stop talking.
And I wanted to say that we will be posting this on our YouTube channel. And if you didn't see all of what we did, you can view it there. And I guess that's all I got to say.
Yeah, so if you want to know how to build a paladin, we did a pretty good example. Even did a little combat, showed you kind of how this works. So hopefully that helps you with the paladin. So
also shows how to use an NPC with your character.
right, and we talked a few little tips and tricks when building your character.
I learned something.
Cool.
I always learn something from you.
All right, guys, that'll be it for tonight. I'm going to call it a stream, and happy gaming, and everyone take care, and I'll see you in the college. Bye-bye.